All right, in this video, we're going to talk about why price does matter, however, not to be moved by these price swings in Bitcoin SV. Then also go ahead and do a little analysis further on the Copa v. Wright case, and some of the information that patent attorney ZemGao has been putting out as well regarding comprehending what's actually going on. This is Gavin Mehl, so stay tuned. We're going to screen share some of this stuff here and get started. Yeah, Twitter is like the space of a lot of free information now. So Twitter or X.com. So it's a great place to get rather decent, sources. But I want to just comment on some of these things and also, you know, just direct people to the exact information. So let's look at this post here. Diego, invest with Diego, and he talks about how Craig has the case in the bag with the settlement of this, with submitting this evidence. So we talked about this on the last video a couple days ago about how the court has allowed Craig's attorney to submit this latex file, which is claimed by Craig and Craig's attorney to be where the Bitcoin white paper was written in. And remember, the court had reprimanded him and his attorney, saying, why didn't you bring this in earlier? Why didn't you let the other side know earlier? And then the court says, well, even though the court was upset about him not bringing this up earlier, he decided to let it in and admit it. The other side, of course, objected to that, and they didn't want to get it in. So what this latex file means is yet to be determined, at least in the court's eyes. However, it will be heard. It will be heard at trial. Now, in this person's opinion here on Reddit, this is what it's talking about, that a latex file has greatly changed. It was originally in the 1980s, and new engineers were developed, particularly the latex in the 1990s. Many packages and fonts were developed after 2000. So the Copa judge did allow Craig to bring it in, and the judge allowed him to bring in a Copa, saying, of course, that it was written after 2012 and that he wasn't going to accept the evidence. That's what the Copa wanted, but that was, of course, overruled. So it is going to be heard. Now, one of the things, one of the guys wrote here below in another comment in opposition, that saying that the latex wasn't created until 2012. Craig's claim about 2008 and 2009 is false. All right. So now, one of the things that's important here about this claim is that this person who's making this other allegation is citing a document here, which is an old court document. This is no longer relevant now. In this particular document here, it's stating that Wright is refusing to release the files, and this is from the other side's making a move in the court, saying he will not release these files. They need to be released and we can't get them in there. Right, saying they're confidential and he won't give us access to them. So that now has passed. So this is old. This time has passed. Whether or not it's overleaf and all that, this is going to have to be determined by the court. All right. So this stuff here, just some internet, this is all in the past. It's been released. Let's just show exactly how. And then it was making this other poster talking about how it was started by overleaf. This again is going to need to be determined by the court. I am not educated enough or competent enough to I have no access to these files, neither do these people on the internet. All right. So these are just directing the counter argument in Copa's favor, why this claim is going to fail because of this overleaf was started in 2012. Well, that'll have to be determined by the court as to what these latex files mean in evidence. Now, it's important to go and take another look here. So yeah, if we remember back in the actual case itself, in the docket, we can determine when there's new filings that have been made now, at least somewhat, and I'll show you how. All right, so yeah, right over here in what's happening is the BTC developers, they are kind enough to post the case updates with what's going on, the BTC core developers, with what's going on in the case on this website, bitcoindefense.org. And so people who are supporting BTC core, they can donate to this website if that's the side that you're rooting for. And what they've got here is they make a timeline for the case, and they post all the recent documents. If you notice here, we already went over the judgment and order. That's the most recent thing. So this other post from this gentleman on Twitter, it's just a troll account. There's no real name, but it's just a troll account. He's posting that, like this is new information. It's not new information because we got the judgment order, which we've already covered. Remember, the judgment here was 41 pages. And we went through this, and this is where Craig's attorney has now come forward and asked the court to bring in this new evidence, and the court has agreed to admit the new evidence, which is this latex files, and the court was very upset about it, back and forth. But he said, we do need to hear this. This is going to be heard. This is going to be looked at, and we're not going to do any pre-trial rulings. There's no pre-trial, meaning summary judgment determinations on any of this new evidence. The court's already said, there's a lot of back argument on this at this point already, that the court is not going to make a determination summarily, like a summary judgment style, on any of this evidence. So none of it's been ruled on. Nothing's been determined at all on the evidence of the latex file. So it would be improper for me or a guy on Twitter or troll or any of these people to make a determination, say, oh, it's over. We don't know what's going to happen yet, all right, at this point. But we do know that it's going to be heard 100%. And, it's starting to, if it is true about these latex files, if it's true and the court finds that it's true, then it will be more likely than not. I would say it would be a much higher likelihood that the court's going to rule in Wright's favor, if that is the case. Now, if we notice back on the order, confidentially, this is about, we also covered this. This is a summary of the order, and he's going to bring in some of the stuff in Kleiman in the hearing. They're going to bring up some of these other parties about non-parties entries and kind of a background on everything. We covered this already in the past. This is the order that's in combination with the judgment about what's going to be brought in on the evidence, and how the latex files are coming in, and a summary of the entire case. So, all right, back to what's going on. Why price does matter. However, there's no reason to be like jumping for joy. And if you're holding BSV or buying it or whatever, I mean, it's not, this is not something to go over the moon about. All right. Because, I really respect ZemGao's opinion. He's not a video guy, but he's a patent attorney out of LA. And he does a really good analogy. He writes a blog. I met him in person multiple times, sat down with him we had a meeting in Dubai together, and then we met again in London in person multiple times. So a lot of respect for the guy. Now, he's stating here on his Twitter post, not moved by these swing prices. Let me share my screen here. Not moved by these swing prices. Okay. Bitcoin SV price jump is just a reflection of the slight psychological lifting to the heavy weight of the misinformation placed over it. So, if you're a trader and you know how to trade, hey, there's probably ways to capitalize on this. But trading is a highly specialized profession, and it takes investment advice. It takes an investing coach. I mean, that is a very specialized area to be in. If you're a trader, and you could probably capitalize on this if you know how to trade cryptocurrency and whatnot, and you're qualified for that. That ain't me. Okay. I've tried that and lost my ass on trying to do trading and learn trading school. And I got my ass handed to me hard in 2017 when I was trying to do that. So I am not that guy. So you ain't going to come to me about trading advice, but look at this is, Zem is talking about these and how it's actually the real valuations coming from 5 stages of development: theoretical foundation, system architecture, capacity experimentation, use case adoption, and real user adoption. So that's where the future is coming with Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, is the real world adoption. Now he directs us to this article here that he wrote back in 2022, talking about why price matters. And, in this particular article, basically it's discussing about, to summarize it, and I'll post a link to it in this video here. You can read the whole thing, but ultimately the key points are that the utility level of Bitcoin SV can increase dramatically, but if the transaction volume is still low, the price, it's not going to increase much. So at 100x increase in transactions, it could have a clear effect on the price. So one of the things that's happening now is that Calvin Ayre, he's talking a lot about, tweeting a lot about Terranode, which is this massive, large scale project to increase the transaction flow volume on Bitcoin SV, the BSV blockchain. And so this point right here would be potentially relevant to that. The other point in this article he brings up is the crypto market currently moves based on speculation, not on utility and fundamentals. That's 100% true. Think about, all this stuff about stuff going up to the moon, XRP, all this stuff. I mean, I have yet to see any real world adoption of XRP. I heard a lot of conspiracy stuff, and I've read a lot of great, articles with a well-funded and put together, but I have seen any real world adoption of XRP, Stellar, you know, and I'm rooting for them. I'm like, do it, let's get some adoption, but it just doesn't seem to be there. I mean, anybody can prove the real world adoption on that stuff. I would love to interview any of those people that could actually do that. It would be valuable to learn. So BSV has three main utility types that drive demand: store value, the medium of exchange, and the payment rail. Right? Those are the three things that are going to build Bitcoin SV. And any or all could drive someone to buy BSV. And there's 4 levels of information that affect the price. This is a kind of a summary that I put together of this long article here. So pure speculation, reaction to factual utility data, shift based on minor economics, and demand from actual BSV utility. So levels 3 and 4 are basically real world economics and utility demands that will ultimately determine the price despite any speculation or sentiment. But these effects will likely be unseen until BSV transactions reach at least 1,000 transactions per second. I'm sorry, 10,000 transactions per second. And then at 1 million transactions per second, a demand on BSV would be tremendous. So, and that's one of the goals of the Terranode, is to get to the 1 million transactions per second. Calvin Ayre has claimed that project is going to roll out in 2024. And it will be going in test phases in the beginning of next year and eventually roll out. So price matters for economics, but BSV should focus on usage and not short-term price. Sound economics will solve the price for the long run. So something to be mindful of is that right now, his point about pure speculation is really what's happening. You got people who are speculating on the Copa case, and they're saying, well, maybe it's Calvin Ayre. Maybe who knows who's dumping all the money into that exchange, those exchanges that do the futures transactions. They don't actually hold Bitcoin on those transactions. I mean, they're trading so much volume, and there isn't that much on the market. So I can't remember what exchanges they're on, but there's massive volume going into those, and they're trading on speculations and futures. So whoever that is obviously speculating on the price going up, leading up into the trial. What's going to happen between now and the trial? Who knows, man? I mean, I've heard some great videos making speculations about it. We don't know, but we do know this. What's the worst? Being in legal stuff. Okay, let me tell you right now, as a non-lawyer, I learned this from a freaking really valuable mentor. Okay, this guy, he actually has it's called the Erwin Rommel School of Law. It's not really barely around anymore, but the lead captain, instructor, the lead chief of the law firm, he always talked about, in law, you have to be trained to always look at the worst and think the worst case scenario. Just the opposite of like real world life. Like when you're going in, you could be like thinking positive it's going to be a great day today, man. I always have a positive attitude, right? That's like PMA. But in law, it's just the opposite. You cannot think positive. I mean, you could think positive, but you have to be expecting the worst possible outcome and prepare for that. So let's just look at it really quick on the worst possible outcome for if you're on the BTC side. The worst possible outcome they got to be prepared for is completely devastation of the chain of that actual blockchain on the second case. Because if Craig wins on the first case, then they're going to roll over to the passing off claim. and it would be a complete shutdown. I mean, again, we're talking worst case scenario, which we have to be thinking if you're on that team. It would be a complete shutdown of the chain, and the chain would end. It would just end. It would stop mining blocks. I think there's only like, I mean, somebody should correct me. I think it's like 16 nodes on BTC. It's not that many, and most of them are in North America. So the chances of them following the court order, if it does come that way, are more likely than not, especially if the big giant nodes and the big exchanges, Coinbase, Kraken, and the others actually follow the court order. So that's the worst case scenario for those guys. That would be earth-shattering, world-changing news. People jumping out of buildings. Okay, that's what that would be. So hopefully, people are prepared and get the video like this, share this with people so they have notice. If they have notice of what the worst-case scenario is, people can plan and hedge around it. Not have their whole life savings in BTC. God, that's the worst thing you could do is not have backup plans. So now let's look at the worst case scenario for the Satoshi side. All right. The Satoshi side loses on all counts. Satoshi is Craig's a fraud. He's not Satoshi. He loses on the first count, and then the passing off claims never happened. He loses on all of those. He's found to be a fraud, thrown in jail. I mean, that's not. I guess that'd be the worst possible. That'd have to be like a criminal charges would happen. But I mean, let's just say the worst thing that could ever happen, and we never hear from him again, and he's gone. All right. Worst case scenario. All right. Well, what's that going to do? It's sure as hell not going to shut down the BSV blockchain. And again, the price has been down, 90 something percent since the high. So it might go down a little lower. It's up now almost double from where it was, a couple of days ago. But, let's say it goes back down to where it was or $40 or $50 or even $30. I think the lowest it's ever been. So it goes back to the bottom low. And then I would consider that a buying. For me, I would consider that a buying opportunity. But I don't know. I would hope I would almost hope it to go to $25 because then I would be able to buy more. But I'm not rooting for that, of course. But I'm saying that I guess that's the worst thing that could happen, right? I can't see how, because there's so many businesses on it right now. If you go to Handcash, you can kind of see all the businesses building and all the games that are operating. And there's a lot of revenue that's being generated from businesses on chain. So that's not going to stop in this case. And that's not even the effect. So there's no injunction that's being asked for from the other side to stop doing BSV. That's not even an outcome that could be possible from the case. So worst case scenario doesn't seem that bad, at least in the way I'm analyzing it. On the other side of the coin, again, it would be stop using Bitcoin, BTC, stop using the name and the chain. I know that's freaking earth shattering. Dude, that's not even, people are saying that's not even possible. That is possible. That's the worst case scenario for the BTC guys. So we have to be mindful of that stuff. I just wanted to get this video out there and kind of do a high overview about this case, the price speculation, why it really doesn't matter. Price does matter according to the ZemGao stuff, but it's broken down into these different elements. And I'll post a link to that article here so people can take a look at it. And I am going to do a couple of Twitter interviews here soon from a couple guys. And if you're other guys that are super educated too, on Bitcoin, and you guys want to do a video, an interview with me, I mean, where we talk on Zoom and go on this channel, I would be happy to do that. Just mention me on Twitter, so I could find it and, reach out. We could definitely set something up because I'm looking at doing that and expanding this stuff, not just on Bitcoin, but other subjects as well. Bitcoin, I mean, so in this case, overall discussion, on freaking getting massive improvement overall in life, man, because that's what it's about. And most of the stuff on the channel has been all about health and overall mental, self-improvement and mastery. But this next year, I'm telling you, the stuff I've already mastered right now, overall, I'm very grateful for. I'm going to keep sharing information on how I've mastered certain things about the body, the health, mind, and then, more about these, where we're going with the overall future with Bitcoin, man, because this is huge. What's happening in this case is absolutely could be catastrophic for the BTC side. It could be absolutely massive for the BSV side. So we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting to follow. I'll put a hand cash in the link below. If you like videos like this, you can freaking send out Bitcoin, Satoshi Vision as donations. And if you're buying Bitcoin for the first time, Satoshi Vision, BSV for the very first time, you're trying to find it. It's hard as hell to do. So I am looking at talking with some guys right now, where we're trying to find a better way to do that. Right now, good luck. Okay, it's not easy to even buy and sell if you're in the U.S. Be sure to subscribe and share this video. Share it out there with people because we need to get the word out, man, about this stuff, what's happening and going on. Make a comment below. Hit the like button for damn sure. This is Gavin Mehl, and I will see you at the top.